Um, I'm back again with some other information for you. We're doing we're doing a series of podcasts on criminological theories. We've done several in the past. This is the number six, and it's been fun. While I do these podcasts, I also learn, believe it or not. And so when people ask questions, even after the show, they send me questions. I am happy when those questions come in, and I'm happy to research and give the answer back to you. But for the most part, um, I'm giving you basic information about some of these theories and how they apply most likely to Jamaica, because I do speak patois in my um, in my podcasts, and so these are mostly, I'm taking these criminological theories and applying them to the Jamaica situation. So, for example, today I'm going to ask, you remember that thing last year when Dunce culture was a thing, you know, Dunce culture, of all the things in the world, Dunce became a thing last year. There's a theory. This theory has something to do with that, and so we'll get to talk about it. And so, welcome again to this Let's Talk kind of a show. It's the Leo Gilling podcast, and I do this, once or twice a week. And if I get a chance to do it third time, okay, take time to prepare for. I'll do a third one. Watch me also morning. I'm with the ladies, Michelle and Diana. And then I also have um, the music podcast where I sing karaoke with Leo Gilling. All right, so let's get going. Today we're talking about the strain theory. Strain theory. I wonder what that means. Uh, when we talk about strain actually means um, it's how where you live impact your behavior, and that's pretty much it. You live in a community that's either, we call it a ghetto, inner city community, lower income community, whatever it is that you wish to call it. um, that they do exist, and they have a part to play in in your behavior. Uh, Strain theory suggests that individuals engage in deviant behavior when they are unable to achieve socially accepted goals through legitimate means. And those two, that last sentence is very, very critical. The last five words in that sentence, because when we talk about strain, we talk about accepted goals and the legitimate means, right? So accepted goals are, finding a good job, uh, having a family, and having the means to keep your family together. That's financial. Having open a business, a successful business, owning a home, having a great career, that kind of thing. So those are the accepted goals. So everybody wants, well, most people, when they grow up with their mom and school give them a thought that you can do well. You can do well by going to school and achieving success in your later years. So, so going to school is a means by way of getting to your goal, right? Um, so what this strain theory is about, it is doing the right things, or the societal acceptable things, to get to an end goal. And your end goal is to have a good life. Being a good life mean uh, having a nice job, family, being successful at what you do, making money, that kind of stuff. But in order to get there, the means is going to school. So we talked about the components of the strain theory, just two components: the societal goal, which discusses the culturally prized aspirations such as wealth, success, and status. And then the means are referred to the legitimate method provided by society to achieve these goals: education, employment, right? So there's two things that we talk about when it comes to strain theory. No, does Jamaica have strain communities? Well, does it? And if it does, you can determine from your own self what a strained community is. So if the people don't have the means to get to their goals, then we have strained theories. All right. So go figure. All right. We could look at various communities in Jamaica and figure, hey, this is a strained community. Failure to achieve these goals, right? When these goals are not able, you're not the members of the community who are not able to achieve these goals, then the society deems them somewhat illegitimate, somewhat deviants, right? Because when you can't achieve your goal, the goals that you set out, then what happens after? You choose another pathway, and most times the pathway is deviant. It's not law abiding, right? It's right, and so when they can't meet their goals, people choose different avenues to see how they can get to those goals or not, right? So the response to the strain theory is that it comes in four different forms, right? So we're going to talk about four different formats of how strain impacts the individual. So they either conform, they innovate, right? Innovation is one of those, conformity is one, retreatism, a big one, and rebellion, another big one. And we can talk about that all day long. But let's look at some communities, some real facts about let's say talk Jamaica and COVID. The people who suffered the most during COVID were the people who did not have the financial stability, right? And so we saw a lot of them coming out on the streets and saying things and calling out the government, "You're not doing enough for me, this and that and that and that," and that's how even the Dunce Culture come out, right? But if for example, well, let me ask this: does just because you live in these communities, you are not going to conform? No, there are some people who will conform to societal goals, societal's expectations, not goals, but expectation. So no matter what you do, and we talked about yesterday, no matter how the community is ghetto, is the community is inner city, no matter how badly it is, there are some people who will keep their focus, sometimes because they have their own internal motivation, or they have both parents inside that community and they probably can't go outside the community, but they have the means, they have the ability to raise a child in a good way. And so the child will do well. How many times you see people who are coming from really poor homes and they become very successful later on? So in this form, the response to strain could take four different ways. The first way is to conform. So what it means to conform is to do by way of the means. You go to school, no matter what, you educate yourself, and you leave the community and become successful, right? Now you have a good family. That's conforming to societal expectation. Going to school, going to college and university, and then move yourself into society where you now have a stable home, a stable job, and so forth. That is conformity, right? But there are other ways now that people may respond to strain in their community. The first one, as we spoke about, innovation. Now, innovation um, occurs when individuals accept the culturally approved goals. So they want to have the nice homes, they want to have the nice cars, and they also want to have good families and a nice job, right? Success, wealth. And however, they use an illicit means to get there. So they couldn't see themselves going to school and college, but they do want the ultimate goal of having a good family, so since they weren't going to college, then they go to another route, being stealing, running drugs, fast money making stuff to get them to where they are. Scamming, right? That's as far as Jamaica is concerned, right? Scamming is a big one because the kids come out of school, or they're still in school sometimes, and they are trained to become scammers, and they bypass college, and they bypass school, primary school and secondary school. They bypass all of that, and they want to have the big deals, right? And so that's the one way in which they innovate to get to the ultimate goal, right? They create an avenue that bypasses the culturally accepted norms to get to where they are. All right, so the other ways in which they could go is retreatism, and that refers to social behavioral withdrawal from the goals. So they don't want to see the goals, right? They don't want to see the goals, and it can be seen as individuals who reject both the cultural goals of success, right, and also the means of getting there. So let's talk about that for a minute. This is retreatism. So we have the goals and we have the means by which they get to the goals, right? Well, this type of person don't care about looking at the goals. They don't care about going to school. Retreatism is often associated with behaviors like substance abuse. They take for drugs, right? Vagrancy, just there, walking around, homelessness. Individuals they disengage from society completely. So they don't go to school, and they don't have any hope of having anything in their lives that society calls expected goals. And so they either turn to drugs, or they just walk about, right, and go hang on up a bridge, or down the lane, right, and they have or they're homeless. So depending on where you live, if homelessness is one of those things, you are going to become homeless, and or you are a vagrant. And so it is that's a third way in which strain theory affect individuals coming out of strained communities. And when I say strained communities, remember, I mean the ghetto, the inner city, whatever you want to call them, right? And then the last one is rebellion. So when people experience a disconnection, culturally prescribed goals, and the means available to achieve them, they may resort to rebellion as a way of rejecting both the goals and the means, seeking to replace them with alternative social structures. Right? So we talk about the Dunce culture, right? So they blame everybody else. They're not on drugs, right? They're not vagrant. You know, but they accept something else that will cost the government, blame them MP, blame them local government representative, and they are hangarounds, and anything they get, they take. But they are very critical, right? And that's how the dunce culture come up, because they're not looking forward to being anybody important in their lives, and they're not going to school, and they're not on drugs, right? And they're not conforming. But what they do, they reject everything and just accept whatever they get. So when it gets to them, when it got to them a couple of years ago, all right, the dunce culture come up, because you find some people who are singing, and people who are on the street just going to dance and make noise, and they know a little bit about what happens in their community and they can talk about it. But then when they look at other people and they can't get there, they reject them, and now they feel emboldened by being dunce. They have to match up in some way, and they have to be they're emboldened by promoting the dunce culture. That's where that comes from. Right, so I got to understand that after I looked, because I wrote an article last year about the dunce culture. I completely, rejected it and found it to be anti community, and it's not a good way for people to look at, for your kids to see this going, and all of a sudden it becomes cool and a thing, right? But if we look carefully at the people who are promoting it, they are those people who have rejected the means by which you become successful, and they also reject anything that is successful out there. All right, so I hope that helps you up a little bit. In my estimation, this also is a great way of applying a theory to how to look at crime, because with people who have rejected the goals, rejected the means, and they're just hangarounds, then they will find other things to do, or people will find things for them to do, because they're not strong mentally or emotionally. So anything that flows around or flies around, they catch it. And the most prominent thing in those communities are generally gangs, gang relations, and where do crime in Jamaica? Where do we blame crime in Jamaica? Most times you hear in the news that it's about gang-related events, right? And so if you follow the trend, or the course, the expected course of means and also the goals, then you're matching what society expects of you, and then I guess they'll accept you that way. Then you become a part of the normal society, they say. This is Leo Gilling, and as I said today, we spoke about strain, and strain theory is from a guy by the name of Merton. Look it up. I put it here in the chat, in the description, and you can read more about it. Have a wonderful day. This is Leo Gilling, and we'll talk again soon, another time, about another type of criminology.